morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Vanessa Vargas on behalf of Cerenade. Thank you for being here today. We're going to learn about our billing and credit card processing module and QuickBooks as well. So for those that are new, hi, happy Friday. For those that are new, this is being recorded. We keep the videos in our YouTube channel. And I am also sharing the PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to be using today. You can download it. If you go to the Go to Webinar menu, you should see an option that says Handouts. You can download the PowerPoint. And throughout the session today, you can ask me questions. There's a chat section, even though you can raise your hand. I can't unmute you, but you can always send me your question, okay? Alrighty, well, let's get started. I'm going to present to you again billing module, how you can customize your billing items and create cases so that you can add expenses, create your invoice. You may also add late fees or discounts to an existing invoice. I'll show you how to process payments and send the links to your clients for payments. You need to have the credit card processing module. So you at least are on plan B or C if you have both billing and the credit card processing module. For the billing module, you can create payment plans and also save the payment method, either the credit card, debit card, or ACH. And that way the system can process the payments automatically. You may also reverse payments or provide refunds. And for the credit card processing module, we link or work with LawPay or PayPal, the Braintree option. And I'll show you as well how to, how to give clients access to their client portal so they can, number one, deposit funds into the trust account if you allow them to. Number two, how to clients can make payments or review the invoice and the payment history. Now, for those that are also interested in tracking the time or charge a timely, like an hourly rate, you could also use the timekeeper along with billing to create time expenses. If you are interested in using or you are using QuickBooks, you can link your QuickBooks account. It has to be the QuickBooks online version, and you can use eIMMIGRATION with QuickBooks, but you cannot use both. It's either QuickBooks online or Cerenade's billing. I also want to show you what the smart alerts are, the global alerts that you can schedule or program via the administrator portal. And lastly, how the tickler can help you with billing information. Okay, as always, we cover resources and support. I have like a Q&A section where you can also see other questions clients have asked, and a did you know section with useful links and the upcoming training class. All right, so let's switch and get started. As I said, please make sure you download my PowerPoint presentation so you can click on the links later on or share with your team. And this is being recorded, so I know that, well, at least I am a note taker, but if I'm taking notes and then the presenter, switches the screen, then I probably feel lost. So I want you to know that, again, this is being recorded and you can always ask questions at any time. All right, so let's get started. Well, first of all, if you're new, you can't create an invoice until you customize the billing item. So let me show you how to do that. You need to go here on the top right corner where it says Settings, Administrative Tools. In fact, if you can right click and open in a new tab, even better, so that you can keep your admin portal open next to the caseworker portal as well. So here in the administrative portal, you'll see billing items. I do recommend that you customize the items first, the type of item, such as instead of saying professional fees, you can probably specify these are like FedEx, travel, consultation, translations. You can have different categories or types of billing items. Once you customize these, then you can go and customize the actual billing items. When you go here and you add an item, it's going to ask you for a code. Most likely you were using something else when you started using eIMMIGRATION, any other system, even if it was Excel, but like QuickBooks or any other accounting system that you want to refer, to like the same code, you can do that. or something like this, N400-5K, we charge 5,000 for N400 flat fee. I mean, just to give you an idea. And then the type, again, this can be customized so that you specify the type of transaction or fee. If you charge per hour, you can change that per hour or leave it blank for a flat fee and simply click save. Eventually, you're going to have your items that are here, and you can't really group them from here, but what you should do is go back to your admin home screen and locate your case processes. Your case processes are kind of like a package, I guess. Like, for each of these processes, you know what forms you need to complete, what steps you need to follow, the documents, questionnaires, templates, and then here, billing items. So if I, for example, choose naturalization and I click on that dollar sign, then I can group any billing items related to naturalization so that when I click on the process naturalization, I know exactly what needs to be charged, specific fees for that matter or process. Okay. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I do want to ask, let me see. No, it's okay. Never mind. See, the majority of you are already aware of the admin access. Perfect. Okay, so let's continue. So number one, even if you, I mean, it happens a lot when they get e-immigration and they want to create an invoice, but they don't have the time to customize all the items, at least create one generic, like a general item like this, master general. I put here like edit description and then $1. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can add one at least like this one, test, or because you need one item that you can customize on the other end. Okay. Even if you don't have the time right now, hopefully when you get a chance, of course, you can specify for adjustment status, I charge this for, I don't know, green card or for naturalization. So you can specify the items for different matters. That's great. And like I said, link them to the processes. But for now, if you don't have the time, at least create one so that you can so you are able to create an invoice. Okay, let me switch back to the other portal, the caseworker one, because I want to show you how to create the case and add the expenses for you to create the invoice. Okay, well, to create a case, usually what I recommend is that you create the contact first. Create the contact. It could be a prospect, by the way. I mean, it could be a lead and we went through consultation, but they didn't retain us, but we still need to create an invoice for the consultation. Well, the status of the contact can remain as prospect. But when I create a case, it's not going to be an actual matter, a legal matter. I'm just going to call it consultation. Okay, I want you to know that our development team is working on enhancing the billing module. I can't really disclose more information, and I don't even know what the ETA is, but I want you to be aware that Cerenade's, development team is working on enhancing the billing module. And so for now, you again create a contact. Let me show you an example. I created a contact right here, and let me close this. And if I need to charge a service, I need to create a case. Okay, I won't be able to create an invoice, at least right now, if I don't have a case. So I'm going to click on create case, and I'm going to select the, like my department, the type of process. I'm going to choose that advice and consult. Like this could be just a consultation. Okay, so and again, all these drop-down menus can be customized. It's better for you because later on you can run reports based on all these fields. Show me all my cases with a specific program type, a specific type of process. Here, I'm just selecting other because technically I'm not going to create an actual case. I'm just selecting, in fact, let me delete all these. I'm selecting like an advice and consult or consultation type of case. No forms needed. The reason why I did that is so that I can go now to billing and add expenses and charges. Let me know if you have any questions at this point. How about voting on your screen? Let's see how many of you feel like you're a pro, are you a beginner, or you know a good amount but you would like to learn more. Let's see. No, no one's. I'm not even considered a pro. By the way, I didn't create this poll, but let's see. Sometimes I feel like I'm a beginner as well. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, I've got most of you, so I'm just gonna close it. Thank you for those who participated. Looks like the majority of you say I'm a beginner. Okay, great, because I feel like I can help you. If you were a pro, then I'm like, what am I doing here? Anyway, so you create a case, right? After you create a contact, you create a case, and then you go to expenses and charges underneath billing. Expenses and charges, by the way, a lot of nonprofit organizations add the expenses not necessarily to create an invoice, but to track any incurred fees for this service. In this example, I'm just using advice and consult. But let me say that, okay, for this consultation, we are going to create an invoice. Notice that based on the process, it's not giving me anything that I can work with. So this is what happens when you have not created an expense. This is why I said create like a master one. Let me find it. Create like a general master, you know, like this one, test or like this one, general, even if it's not specific or it doesn't say consultation. Because here you can click on select edit and you can change the description. That's why I put edit description. So I'm going to say advice and consult or consultation, maybe in Spanish, consulta. And we charge, I don't know, $100. And the consultation happened maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something. So you can customize the description, the quantity, the unit price, and then it will reflect an extended price, such as this. Look, I'm going to put 250 and I'm going to select, I don't know, like 20% off, and you can change the quantity to reflect an original or unit price versus the extended price. See? So you can just change this. Instead of 1, I'm changing it to point 0, point 60, point. Anyway, so once we have the extended price, then click on invoices. To create an invoice, you click here, invoices, add the invoice, and select the client. Usually one person, but if it's, you know, you can see the petitioner, the beneficiaries, and the derivative. Anyone who has been linked as a case party, it's going to appear here. So technically, you have to decide who's going to pay. And the reason why this is important is because if you, let's say I choose the beneficiary, but the one who's going to access the system via the client portal is Valeria, the petitioner. So, she's not going to see the invoice. So that's why you have to be careful, like who are you selecting here? That's important. Who's going to pay? Now, what am I charging? What are the expenses? So I'm selecting this. It could be more than one. I think I raised it from 100 to 150. Okay. I'm going to select default invoice. Another notification or something that I want you to know is that Cerenade offers professional services for custom invoices if needed. Okay. If you want to create your own template, you can always contact our team for a quote. Here, I'm going to just use the default invoice. I'm going to skip this because I'm not going to limit the options. I'll just click add. and then it will take you to the invoice. Now, the reason why my logo appears on the left is because I customize it in the administrator portal. If you go to application settings at the bottom, you're going to see on the right hand side the option where it says branding. So this is where you can upload your logo, and the logo can be 300 by, well, it has to be 300 by 70 pixels and GIF format only. Okay, so you can't use like JPEG or PDF, like it has to be GIF. Once you have your logo, it's going to look like this. Now, if you don't see the information of your client, it's because you probably don't have anything in the system, like her address. So at least add, something so that it populates the name. I'll just pick this one. I can select the address. You have to have a due date, otherwise it won't let you save the invoice. And that due date can also be customized in the admin under application settings, like this one, 30 days from the invoice date, or you can say every 30 of the month. You can change that. Okay, let me also explain that you can change the description of the invoice. I think I did 40% off. I forgot. Anyway, so you can customize the description, but you cannot modify the fees, the prices. If you need to change this, see, I can't change it. Close the invoice before you save it and go back and modify. So I'm going to close, go back to my expenses, and then change it here. So I'll just say, I don't know. I'm just messing with the extended price. And then go back to invoices, add the invoice, select, so you have to do it again. Oops, I didn't choose a template. Here we go. Okay. Now that I have the correct fee, I'm going to save it. I forgot to mention this, but the notes at the bottom can also be customized and you can modify them. Instead of typing it over and over again, I also suggest that you go into your admin, application settings, billing, and you can change the notes at the bottom of the invoice, like cell payments, PO box for any pay, like send your check here or any websites. But yeah, you can give them like a note at the bottom. Well, now that we have the invoice, let me see if you guys have any questions. Okay. If I need to modify this invoice and give them a discount or a late fee, I could also click here to manage the discount. So I can add a discount, and I'll just say promotion or something like that. And then my discount is going to be 75. I'll just put today's date. So now let me close this. Now my client can see that it's 100. Of course, if we open it, we see that the original price was 175, and well, technically 250, but I'm giving them a promotional discount. All right. Let me know if you have any questions about that. All right. I will show you now how to process a payment. I hope that after today's webinar, you feel like a pro. Well, you're going to start practicing using the system, but it's one step at a time, so don't worry. All right, so once we have an invoice, we're going to click on select add payment. Now, let's say my client gave me cash. I'm just going to enter $30 and I'll put initial payment. And we got this yesterday. I don't know. So, of course, because we received $30, the balance is less. We see the balance here, $70. And I can create a payment plan. Okay, so you can say, well, they're going to start paying us March 1st, the installment amount of, I don't know, $35 every week. And I want the system to remind this person maybe 2 days before their due date and send them a link. so they can pay us as a guest. So it doesn't matter. They don't have to come to the office. They'll just get this reminder with a link and they can process their 35 weekly payment to pay the balance. Okay, let's see. Someone asked a question. How the extended amount works, like what's the concept? What do you mean the extended amount? You mean the balance or like this? The installment amount you mean? I think. Well, you decide based on what the client, what are the arrangements with the client, and they'll see the copy of the invoice. So they always see, for example, let's say that she processed a payment, I'll say $10, $10 check. Or I'll just enter the check and then the date today. Let me show you the invoice. When it's time for her to pay the $35 next week, or we said March 1st, she's going to get a copy of the invoice, and this is the concept. It's still advice and counsel, but the due date says see payment plan, and she can see on page 2 the payment history. So the initial payment was $30, then a check was processed for $10. So now her payment plan or the balance for March 1st is just 25 since she gave us $10. I hope that helps. No, on adding expenses, there was the amount and then the extended price or something like that. Oh, I see what you mean. No, it's just the final amount. Like when let me go back. I see what you mean. You're talking about right here. Let me add one. Not a I'm gonna pick this one. Mm, you're talking about this. So it's the same description. The only thing I'm doing is this would be the unit price, and sometimes it could be okay for I-130 form fees. How about it was like 3 forms? So my extended price is going to be 750 times 3. So that's what I mean. There's no additional concept. This is the only description that we go by. I hope I hope that makes sense. But let me know how the extended amount works. Like, what's the concept? Yeah, I hope that I answer your question. But so the extended price on the other example that I did, instead of multiplying times 3, I actually reduced that from 1 to point something. So I can reflect like a discount. And you can always customize a description to show them even after the fact, like when you're creating the invoice. Got it. Thanks. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you so much for asking questions. All right, so going back to, just kidding. I wasn't going back. I was going to show you something else. So let me reopen the invoice. Where's my invoice? Oh, right here. Okay, so going back to that invoice, that payment plan, you can always modify it. Your payment plan, remember, we're going to send a link, and this only works if you have the credit card processing module enabled, meaning you have linked your LawPay or your PayPal account. Okay, I want to show you something else. Let's close this. Invoice number is 2826. We have a receptionist and she gets a call. I need to make a payment. There's a quick link area right here. So you can click on quick links, go to process payment. What's your invoice number? 2826. Let me select. It looks like your balance is 60. Okay, I'm gonna pay, I don't know, 25. And the type of, I'm gonna process this with a payment card. Of course, remember, if you guys are connected to LawPay, when you select payment card, we're processing the actual payment and it will reflect. Or it could be other because the client says, I sent a cell payment for $25 and my cell transaction number is this. When did you send the payment? Today. Okay, let me process it. And then they obviously confirm the transaction. But my point is that your staff, and then here's the notification on top of confirmation the operation was successful. Let's close this. So your staff doesn't have to go through the case or find the client. They can easily just use the quick links, click on process payment, and ask the client, what's your invoice number? Okay, let's take a look. I'm gonna also show you there's a shortcut right here. I can look at the client, but instead of clicking here, I go to select, load more data, and go straight to invoices. So that's the shortcut. We call it load more data. And now we can see that the balance is less. Remember, you can also open the invoice and look at the payment history. So here's the 25 cell payment. Okay. Also, if I click on the link where it says paid, I can see all the payments processed. Sometimes clients rather print this to give the client like a receipt that shows the type of payment, the dates, the amount, any notes, and who processed the payment. There is no gateway record ID because I didn't process this with LawPay, but if I had, if that was instead of Zelle, if that was a credit card payment that I processed via LawPay, I'll get that ID right here. Okay, let's see. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, so client still owes me 35 and she wants to pay online. Well, I'm going to send her a link. Click select, send payment link to client, and she rather access the invoice or the payment link via text message, either text message or via email, or both. I mean, I have her cell phone and her email address. So as long as she pays, right? As long as she pays, I'm going to send that link so she can pay using that link. And I always have a record. If I see logs, there's always a confirmation right here. So if for some reason you forget, or maybe you're the attorney, you don't know your paralegal did send the link or not, you could also rely on your system notifications, and it's right here. Or if your client says you never send me the link, you can send them an email with a PDF proving or confirming that we did send that, and it has a timestamp as well right here. Okay, let me see if you guys have any questions. Okay, let me take you back to the other screen. All right, we are going to show you how to save or store the payment methods for any automatic payments. Okay, let's go back. If you go to the contact profile, not the case, but the contact profile, click on billing payment methods. It's on the right hand side. This is where you can add the payment card or your client's ACH information. Sorry, I have a question. I'm going to read the question. What measures can be taken concerning billing details even if PayPal is not connected? Um, well, we do have clients that use Square or other merchants, not necessarily PayPal or LawPay. If you just have billing, you can always use the option that says other, and then just capture, again, it could have been a Zelle, Venmo, or any other type of payment. Just register that under other. I also recommend relying on your reports. So if you click on standard reports and click on billing, doesn't matter what type of payment that was, you can always search for all payments, maybe in our office in California. Well, let me just narrow this. I want to see payments from 2020 until today. How many payments we have received. And I can see, obviously, the location. I picked California, but like my case number, the payment ID, and the amount received. this is an example of a basic standard report, but if you guys have custom reports, you can add more columns or narrow down the search and say, I'm only looking for payments equal to check, or I'm only looking for sell type of payment. I mean, I would rely on my reports, definitely. As far as other measures, of course, you can send them reminders also. You're not going to send them a payment link because they can't. If you don't have your PayPal account connected or LawPay connected, I mean, maybe you're using, like I said, Square or something else like your bank merchant. You could also ask your merchant if they have some sort of link, and once you get that payment, come back here and obviously register the payment. That's what I would do. At this point, we only work with LawPay or PayPal. Hopefully, there are other options like in the future to link to sell or Square, other merchants available. What was it? Oh yeah, payment method. So I was showing, if you go to the contact profile and then click on billing payment methods, this is where you can add the payment card or the ACH. But again, you need to have your LawPay or PayPal account linked just so that the system can charge the invoice automatically. Of course, you need to create a payment plan for that too. Oh, you're welcome. Um, what's next? Payment methods. Yes, automatic payments. We talked about that too. Now, reverse payments. Let's say that your client wants a refund. So I'm going to access her invoice, and let's say the sell transaction didn't go through. Okay, so if I click on reverse payment, I can void or provide a refund here. So maybe, and again, you can see here, I'm voiding a transaction or I'm giving them a refund. So if I'm voiding a transaction, I'm going to be specific to specific with the amount. In this case, let me reopen. In this case, the transaction that I'm trying to void was for $25. So, and that was processed today. So let me close this and again, click on select, reverse payment, void or refund for $25. And then I'll just say sell transaction was voided. Oops. And the date. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna void, oh, I put 25, I mean 24. Oops. Well, you see, disregard my typo. But anyway, so I can void that transaction. And if I go back to the invoice, it's going to be right here, negative 24. Okay. Although it should have been negative 25, but now the balance is 59 instead of 60. Okay. So that's how you can, even after the fact, the thing is you can't really modify the invoice unless you manage either a discount or a late fee. Right here, I could say, you know what, this person hasn't paid and we're going to add a fee, or they process the payment. And so for us to cover the, the fees from Square, or so I can just put here, for example, Square, I don't know, 3% fee, or why? I think it's like a course because I can't just type Square 3% fee and I'll just add $5. Here we go. So I'm just gonna charge a $5 fee and reopen the invoice so I can show you how it looks like. So it says late fee, but technically it's just the percentage that I'm adding or incurring based on the service. And here at the bottom, if you notice, the payment plan detail now shows 0 because technically she has covered that. But we can't, since we did avoid it, like the adjustment, make sure that you notify your client. So technically, they still have to pay the 25 or well, $24. Okay, so the payment plan is not going to be adjusted. So be careful with that. You would have to do it manually right here. So I'll just, change it and or delete. Let me delete it. Go back, create payment plan, select the date and the amount. I'll just say 25 per week. If I reopen the invoice, now we can see that it's been updated. So you have to do it manually. Um, Now, if you do have LawPay or PayPal, you need to go into your admin, click on application settings at the bottom, and on the right hand side, click on payment gateway. Okay. Well, how many of you know how to access the admin tools? Let me know if you want me to go back and show you because I think I probably did it too fast. Okay. Let me go over that really quick so I can show you what I did. Let me close this. When you connect to your regular portal, on the right hand side, there's a gear icon that says settings. You should see administrative tools. So click there, and now that you're in the ad, it should say administrator on the top left. Okay, so scroll all the way at the bottom, scroll down, and then you should see tools, application settings. Okay, your application settings on the right hand side, instead of billing, you're going to click on payment gateway. And this is where you need to connect your PayPal or your LawPay account. Now remember, I am also sharing my PowerPoint where you can click on either or to follow the instructions. We have a lot of resources available. Let's talk about Client Portal and how your clients can access their portal. Your clients have access to a client portal if you allow them to. Let me show you how you can enable this access for your clients. Let me take you back to the caseworker portal, the regular portal. Okay, let's say that I'm going to say Andrew to access his portal, and I'm going to click on client access. Let me delete this one so you guys can see how it looks like when it's new. If you haven't given them access yet to their client portal, it's going to look like this. It's going to say create, and you can choose the login name. I'm just going to change it to Andrew_son. And the password, I could either generate that automatically or type 1234 or whatever password you guys want to create. You could also set an expiration date and then create the access. Don't forget to send the client the credentials. Send them an email with the credentials. I recommend using letter templates also to specify, for example, instead of using that, I could create my own template in Spanish, querido Andrew, and then just explain what this is for. Do not change the password bracket, leave it as is. The system will populate by default. Anyway, so once I send the credentials to my client, I can also determine, do I want this person to access billing? Yes or no? Do I want them to access the trust account deposit funds option? No. So I can block or allow. Do I want to enable some reports so he can access the reports? If so, which reports? I can pick that from here. Maybe this one, expiration dates for passports or something, etc. So you can see that you can allow or block certain features. It looks like we have a question, so give me 1 second. I have set the admin settings to automatically put the invoice due date, but whenever I create an invoice, it is blank. Mm, Let me double check. So what this person is talking about is in the admin, when you go to tools and application settings, under billing, you have this automatically set invoice due date to, right? That's what you mean. So I mean, it might be a bug. I mean, you can always check with our developers. We might need to connect to your screen because on my end, when I created my invoice, it did set the invoice due date automatically. I'm trying to see if there's any other setting or something that it's off, but no. If this is the right here, it says leave empty so that you do it manually. But because, or make sure that you save your changes. Let me, okay, let's say that I'm gonna change mine, the first of the month. Let me create a test with Andrew. Okay, I'm gonna go to his recent case, billing, expenses and charges. I'm gonna add the expenses. I'll pick this one. Invoice. I'm gonna add the invoice. I'm gonna charge him the consultation with this default invoice and I add. You know what? There, they may have a bug because I picked the due date to be the first of the month, so it technically should have been March 1st. Let me see if once I save it, it changed. No. Okay, so you know what? Check with our developers or technical support team by clicking where it says help, technical support, and send us a message. I'll report this myself just because on my end, I picked the first of the month and I did save the changes. It's right here, operation was successful. But I'll let them know yours might be the same issue that it's not reflecting the settings. Thank you for asking the question. Okay, so let's go back to the client portal. I'm gonna log in as Andrew. As you can see, clients will have to change their password for security reasons. That's the reason why I encourage you to just type 1234. It's faster for them to type 1234, log in, and pick their own password. All right, let's change it again. Andrew, son. Okay. Notice that once the client logs in into the client portal, on the left, there's a section for invoices. And he can open the invoice and see all the details as well as the second page with payment history. If we are connected to LawPay or PayPal, my client can also make payments from here, right? The amount, card number, all the details. So make sure again that you enable the access if you want them to log in and process their own payments. Now, if I want the client to deposit funds into his trust account, I need to enable that and it's going to show like this, deposit funds. So he can, it looks like we have the deposit type locked to payment card. It might be because that's how the PayPal account is set up, but it could also be ACH and you can let the client deposit funds directly into the trust account. And again, click on the links if you want to learn more about those. Let me show you what the time and billing module looks like. And then again, we're going to cover QuickBooks, Smart Alerts, and the tickler. Now for the timekeeper, you'll notice on the left, you have tools and then timekeeper. You can track your time. You can track the time, for example. Someone forgot to stop this one. All right, this is going to be a very expensive consultation right here for 1,845 hours. Let's see. If I move this consultation and I say send it to the client profile or a case profile, now if I want to also create expenses, it has to be a case profile, which I'm going to do that. I'm going to say for Valeria, the advice and consult, create an expense after we move that time that we kept that we tracked for this. Well, honestly, you could also modify it if you are allowed to. This is definitely a mistake, but I can change this and say it was like 5 hours, 26 minutes. Like you can change this. But anyways, just for the sake of it, let's say it was the 1,800 something. And I want to select, the fee for these advice and consult. I don't have one, it says 0 records found. But remember I told you can create a general one. You can choose like this one. We charge 500 per hour. So I'm going to select. When you click select, it adds a check mark. Don't be like me because I was waiting for the system to do something and waited. Once you click select, scroll down and then you can change the expense date and click finish and navigate. It's going to take us to the case window where we see the time entries. And at the end, you're going to see the total time spent. Now, if I go to billing, expenses and charges, based on that amount or quantity and based on the unit price, they owe us almost $1 million for a consultation. Wouldn't that be nice? So once we have that, then we can transfer that to an invoice. But as you can see, the system calculated the rate per hour based on the quantity, based on my time, the time kept. Let me see if you have any questions. Please let me know before I move on to QuickBooks. Let's see. Any questions at this point? Okay, so I'll just continue. Thank you so much for voting. Let's continue. Now, of course, if you don't have billing with Cerenade and you rather keep your QuickBooks account, the way that you can integrate, first of all, go to your admin to connect your QuickBooks account. Under the application settings, you're going to see Intuit QuickBooks. This is where you can authorize a connection. Okay. Once you do it, it's going to say it's been already authorized. So once you do that, now you can start using your QuickBooks account with eIMMIGRATION. And the way it connects, it's also via the case profile. Under billing, you're going to see QB billing. Okay. If you search for the entity, I'm going to search for this person and select. I can create charges for this person so that once I submit them to QuickBooks, they reflect as accepted. So it looks like a couple of years ago, I added these fees or charges, and I don't have to add them manually via QuickBooks. As far as the integration, this is it. You can't really create an invoice from here. You can't, so it's a one direction integration. It's not bi-directional. I can't run a report to see my QuickBooks data. I still have to connect to QuickBooks directly. So the only thing you can do with eIMMIGRATION and QuickBooks is creating the charges. And if you notice in the admin, under the settings, you can select if that charge is going to be considered as accepted or pending. What's the status of the charges? Okay, so I can always create the charges from here, submit to QuickBooks, and then my staff will see that this person has some fees or charges that we need to bill them for. All right, so next and almost done, smart alerts. In your system, specifically in your administrator portal, you'll notice we have types, and I want to show you these. Global alerts for clients or cases. If you click on that global alert and add one, I suggest that you select advanced and say, for example, warning, info, I don't know, danger or success. You can say, show me an alert or a pop-up window if a client, or in this case, um, if a case, if when I go to a case profile and they have any invoices that are overdue, give me an alert, a warning alert. So let's save it, go back and refresh my screen. Oh, well, this one doesn't have any overdue. I wonder if this was the, let me do it for the client because I have one similar. Okay, this is a pop-up window that you should see because she does have overdue invoices. Well, technically you should create the client alert because it doesn't matter what case, she's gonna have overdue invoices, and I can see the, if I go to billing, invoices, I can see the total amount due, regardless of the invoice or regardless of the case. At the bottom, each client has under billing a total balance, how much they have paid and what's the balance left. So again, wouldn't be nice to have that type of client. So when you create your global alert from the admin, your staff cannot delete that. If you notice here on the left, there's like a red dancing bell. I can click on that one and I can see what the alert is. Obviously, you can also add an alert manually in the system. For example, success, client came to deposit or to uh, provide, I don't know, to give us a check. And then I can put check number, blah, blah, blah. So that way, of course, the check hasn't been processed yet, but at least my staff is going to get this alert when they talk to the same person, they see any updates regarding this other alert. These alerts these alerts that you create individually, meaning the caseworkers, you can edit or you can delete, but not the global alerts. And I see a question. Can you explain the alerts again? Yes, of course. From your admin, you can create global alerts for both clients or case profiles. I suggest that you create one as the client, and then all you need to do is click Add Alert, select Advanced, choose, for example, if there are any invoices that are overdue, give me an info or warning alert. So just click Save. I wonder what happens when you have two. This is exactly how I learned how to use the system. I'm not afraid of making mistakes, as you can see. And that's how you learn. They will give you two alerts, which is not necessary. So let's delete one. I always encourage clients when I give them trainings, just become like a child. They're not afraid of asking questions and exploring the system and then just, learning. Anyway, so yeah, um, go into your admin and then right here, global alerts. It could also help you for not just billing. There's another advanced alert for adverse party. You can say, if my client has any member that is this, like adverse, let me know, like for conflict of interest. So you could also create that type of alert. Let me delete this one too. And finally, I want to show you the tickler. If you go to your caseworker portal, under tools, click on tickler, this general dashboard can be customized. If you go to your settings or user preferences, you can modify your layout. Or in general, you can just do it from the admin portal. But what I'm trying to show you here in the tickler, besides looking at all the reminders and process steps and tasks and expiration dates, is that you can also track your accounts receivable aging. So I can see that we have invoices that are overdue 30, 60, 90 days. And it tells me the date, the client name, the case number, the invoice number, everything, and what the amount is due. It was due, it is due tomorrow, actually. So this one is 030, and I don't have any. Let me just show for all caseworkers because it might be a different. Anyway, so you can print this report. You could also customize it via user preferences. Like I said, just go to your tickler and change the settings. Maybe, again, you want to modify, these ranges, and I can modify it here. That's the tickler. I highly encourage you to use it. And let's see if you guys have any questions. For those that are not subscribed to billing, how likely are you going to use this feature? All right, so I'm waiting for the rest of the participants to vote. In the meantime, if you have questions, please message me. All right, I'm just gonna close it for time purposes. Thank you so much for voting. And what I want to do right now is continue with the resources and support. Of course, you're going to have questions. That's normal. Please call us or send us an email, except on holidays. That's our phone number and email address. But you could also click on the home screen option for technical support, or you could also send your feedback to developers. You may also access our user's guide. And we do these trainings for free every Friday, unless it's a holiday. We also have a podcast. We have a Facebook forum page. I put the link right here so you guys can subscribe. Don't forget to download this PowerPoint presentation with these links. We have a YouTube channel called Cerenade Academy, and we recommend that you subscribe to it. These are the questions some of you sent. I wonder if billing statements can be edited or corrected. No, you can print them, but let me show you what they, so for those that are not aware of what this is, let me close this. If you go to billing or any of these, let's wait. Okay, for any of these invoices, let me go to settings. By the way, you could also modify the address if needed. I forgot to mention this, but you even after you created the invoice, you can modify the address. Okay, let me. I can't really modify. I'm trying to find where the. Sorry, I'm kind of lost, but I can't see that the statement. I think it's under. Let me go back to the case, see if I can find it here. Under billing, invoices, oh, right here. So the balance statement is at the case profile. And so the question is if you can modify this. You can only print it. You cannot delete, or obviously for auditing purposes, you can only print the statement and it looks like this. Okay, let me cancel. Thank you for your question. Let me continue with the presentation. Can I block my users to access billing or specifically add discounts to an invoice? Yes, actually, when you go to your admin, click on users and open the account. Let's say Alan is my intern or my paralegal, and I don't want them to access billing. Scroll down to access rights, and you're going to see billing. You can allow or block. Even if I allow billing, but I don't want them to reverse a payment or give a discount or access trust account, I can block those as well. I could also prevent them from deleting an invoice or deleting a payment. Okay, let's go back. Next question, can I use any credit card merchants such as Clover or Square? Not at this point, as I mentioned, but you have to be subscribed to the credit card processing to link or connect with either LawPay or PayPal. And of course, you have to have billing as your optional module as well. Here's a link to get more information. All right. Did you know? So these links will take you to a video or a step-by-step instructions with screenshots, articles, like to show you how these work. Maybe you didn't know that we have e-filing, or the fact that you can share documents, like all those shared documents, you can find them using the filter and the tag helper. So we have different features that we want you to be aware of. The next training on the 23rd, so the last one for February, will be a basic training for new users. It also helps as a refresher, so please register for that one. And please connect with Cerenade if you haven't done so. Like I said, we have a podcast, we have the YouTube channel, we have the Facebook forum page, but we want to connect with you and help you as much as we can. So please reach out if you have any questions. And as always, thank you so much for joining today. I hope that you learned something new today. But let me know if your questions were addressed during the webinar before you disconnect. And don't forget to download the PowerPoint presentation. Now remember, this is being recorded and we will upload the video in our YouTube channel. There's going to be a survey after you disconnect. So thank you so much for your feedback. Have a great weekend, everyone. And again, on behalf of Serenade, thank you for joining us today. Oh, you're very welcome. Have a great weekend too. Bye bye. If you still have any questions, please send me your question via the chat before you log out. All right, so I don't see any other questions coming through, so I'll end the webinar. But again, thank you so much and have a good weekend. Take care.